Welcome to STL City Showdown. I'm AJ, and this is Steve. Hey, we won. I love it.
We did it.
I know, especially after last week's game where it was just absolutely miserable. This was a lot more fun. So I'm just going to say, hey, let's go straight to our game. Our first game is going to be medals. We got a gold, we got a silver, and we got, guess what? A bronze.
Yeah, that's how they work.
Yeah, it's like the Olympics. All right, let's just start with it. Tell me, who would you put as your gold medal winner?
I think we are going to shock absolutely no one when we say Marcel Hartl has to for the gold. I don't know. There's no reason even messing around with it. You got a brace. The first goal was just a banger. Just a laser right off his foot. Yeah. I mean, then you get the brace later. So, yeah, for me, no brainer. It's Marcel Hartl as the gold winner. I think he got the man on the match in both FotMob and the St. Louis City app, and probably for MLS. He's definitely going to be the MLS player of the game of the week. So,
absolutely.
For sure. I mean, he scored 3 goals. Probably the 4th time we've done it this year. So
2 goals?
3.
No,
the team scored 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, the team scored 3. Yeah,
I was about to say, did I miss something? Holy moly.
You did not. No. So, we barely do it, and we did it against a team that is fighting for their playoff spot, as you recognized from the announcer tonight.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because the one thing that we realized last week is we went up against a good team. And LAFC they've been in pretty decent form, I would say, right?
Yeah.
And we basically got owned. We looked horrible. Now, the realistic thing is we always complain about the fans that whatever happened this week, we think is indicative of the entire season. Like, you have a bad game, then this team sucks. And if they win, we're the best team ever.
Yeah.
Now, it's more fun being like that, let's be honest, but we got to be a little bit more measured than that. Last week, though, was just absolutely terrible. Unfortunately, maybe LAFC just made a good game plan. The one thing I saw tonight is, holy moly, we were owning them. We controlled the midfield, which I'm sure we'll talk about, and it was kind of almost like a reverse game. I felt like there wasn't really a time that we lost control, would you say?
No, and it probably would shock a lot of fans that know us as the pressing team. We don't really try to control the ball. We had, over 50% control for the entire match. So we definitely had control of the ball, had control of the game. I think we saw that they had 8 shots throughout the whole match, but they only had 2 on target. Berkey was just back there picking daisies the entire time. So other than that weird bonehead shot where instead of pulling down the player, Kessler decided to push him up towards the goal and actually
on
got
the
us
set piece.
Yes,
that was Totland, I think.
That was Totland or Totland. Yeah,
Totland.
That was boneheaded stuff. But yeah, so other than that, Berkey had nothing to do the whole match, and that's okay. That's good.
Yeah, I'll say we'll definitely take the win, and I agree with you 100%. I'll say goal on your gold medal. What about your silver? Who you giving your silver to?
I had a couple of names scratched out, and then I was like, who's the player that I keep forgetting? And it's Alfredo Morales. He had 2 assists tonight, and that was obvious. Without him intercepting that high pass in the middle of the field, Hartl wouldn't have gotten that first goal. He managed that ball perfectly, passed it directly to Hartl, and then Hartl did his thing, weaved around and buried it in. But Morales was on it tonight. He was just on it, and it's been one of the good pickups we had. So for me, it was Morales all the way. One of those quiet, one of those guys that would have gotten our quiet beer, just did his job, did exactly what he should. And for me, he got the silver tonight because of his 2 assists. What about you?
You want to know who I put down for my silver?
It's got to be Chris Durkin.
No, I put Morales, and here's the reason
you put Chris
why.
Durkin. You put Durkin.
Yeah. So you kind of said some great points, right? He had 2 assists here. The other thing is one thing that was very telling about this game is we had midfield control a large part of this game. and it felt so much better. There was a lot of
Yeah.
give and go type of passes. We were making a lot of quick little passes in the midfield, which was allowing us to get through the defense. Very, very different than last week, where we kept getting trapped by defenders in the midfielder and then end up, coughing up the ball. And part of that, let's be honest, it goes from Durkin to Hartel and everything in between, which would be Morales. That line right there was just well connected. I can't wait
Yeah.
to look at a McLack app, if I said that right, where they talk about the different passing lanes, like the different pictures. It's
Okay.
going to be really interesting because I'm sure we're going to see a strong passing lane between those three. And so I have to say, good job. Now, you're right. Morales did make some bad plays, but obviously there was more good than bad in this sense.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
what about your bronze? Who you giving the last medal to?
You know what? I'm having a little fun with this one. I am giving it to my Bulldog. I am giving it to Chris Durkin because my man played a hell of a game. Plus, later in the match, he took a ball right to the face and he got right up and he did a little jog behind the goal and they came right back in as soon as they let him. So, Chris Durkin, my man, you get the bronze tonight, my homie.
Yeah, he got knocked down a few times. I think near the end, he
But
also got kicked right into his left
yeah,
shin.
he was fouled. I think I saw he was the most fouled player on the pitch tonight. Like, for some reason, Austin was not caring about anyone else in the field but that man in the middle. And they were just fouling him like crazy. And he didn't get a yellow card, which I'm a little disappointed, but you know what? He did his best.
Maybe McSorley took it. McSorley got a silly yellow. I don't think that was necessary for him to do that little professional yellow. And
Yes.
somehow, I think it was Morales also got a yellow. I'm like, wait, where's Durkin? Like, how does
Right.
Durkin get a
Is he
freaking
playing
yellow?
tonight? No yellows?
Yeah, is this the first game in a long time?
Like, is he like playing stable? Like, what are we doing here?
All right, so here's who I'm going to give my bronze to. So I think it's fair game. It's not a player. I'm actually going to say Critch in this sense because I think Critchley had decent game plan. He set the tone. And one thing that I really, really appreciate throughout the season is that the passing so much better. Now, trust me, like LAFC, that was poor
Inexistent.
passing. It just wasn't great. But if you look at like a snapshot of 5 games, like these last 5 games versus the first 5 games of the season, like our passing was atrocious back then.
Yeah.
Now, holy moly, like I feel like we're actually a real team. Our accurate passes, 84%, right? That's a little bit more than average. I think average typically is like 80, 82%. But when we were playing Olaf ball, if I recall, we were like in the high 7. And unfortunately, a lot of those passes just weren't going anywhere. They're except backwards, right? Now we're making a lot more progressive passes. We're only using the safety valve when we absolutely need it. So
Backward
much better.
passes. Oh my
So
God.
I got to give him bronze on this.
You mentioned we've been saying it since like Olaf was fired. No matter how long this league stays, no matter how long this team is, I think that hire, that name is going to be synonymous with this, like the worst decision an organization could ever make. Now, are you a Blues fan? Do you know the Blues and all that jazz there?
Yeah, I mean, I
What's
enjoy
the one
games.
what's the one negative name for like any kind of a coach you think of when you think of the Blues?
Oh, that's a good question. Help me
So
out here.
most Blues fans, when you say the name Mike Keenan, their
Oh,
blood,
yeah.
see? That's it right there, right? You say Mike Keenan, and every Blues fan just wants to rip their hat off and throw it on the ground. You want to bite someone when you hear the name Mike Keenan. And it's mostly because of Wayne Gretzky. But Mike Keenan was a horrible manager and a horrible coach and a GM. But that's the one name. And I don't know what name you can give for, say, the Cardinals for like a manager, for the worst manager ever. Because maybe it's our current one, but like I'm sure there's been shorter tenures. But for the Blues, you're going to hear that. City fans, 40 years from now, you're going to say the name Olaf, and someone's like, you son of a bitch, you ruined my dinner. Like, they're going to, I honestly feel that. I honestly feel like he's not going to be forgotten. He's, because of the hype, because of what he came in, he replaced the coach that was fired, or has now won the Shield, but he replaced that guy.
Holy moly, how
And-
crazy is that? Philadelphia is literally clinched the Shield with still another game and some teams like 2 games ago.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yep. 66 points right now. It's a completely different organization. They have a well-established team, a culture, but we took a guy that took our team, won first place the first year of our existence, won the West, and yep, we all know how the playoffs went. We know how the first year started, but then we fired him, and he was scooped up by Philadelphia. And now he's won the Shield in his first year there. And he's got a couple of our former players playing with him. Like, he knows, apparently Bradley Carnell knows his things. And I think that's also going to be one of those other names as well. Like, in San Diego had a chance to draft not Eli, but Peyton Manning. They had a chance to draft Peyton Manning as a number 1 pick, but they picked some other guy. Can't remember his name right now. And that's the point. And he's now in the trash bin of history. And we're going to regret getting rid of Bradley Carnell, especially if they win the Cup. If they win the Cup this year, the Shield and the Cup, we could be tasting a little bit of that. Nothing. Can't even play competitively in the Open Cup anymore.
Yeah, and
but yeah,
crazy.
I like your bronze, man. The coach. Our new head coach, probably.
So, when we get to goal or no goal, I'm going to bring this back up. So I'm going to save this as like a little teaser to our goal, no goal segment. Because I think this is on everybody's mind right now. So speaking on our mind, we have 31 points, man. 31 points, Steve.
We did it. We're 30. We did it.
Are we safe now officially? Are we eliminated from the wooden spoon chase?
Yes. We did some math. Yeah. Unfortunately, I gotta go put this back in my kitchen. Not this year, my friend. Not this year. Like, we are officially out of the ability to win earn the wooden spoon because
do you win
of
or lose it.
Yeah, I think we discussed that last week, and I what did I say? I think you're awarded. Like, here is your prize for being awful. You get a wonderful wooden spoon. But so far, you got LA Galaxy at 24 points. You've
24
got
points.
24 points. You've got DC United at 25. You've got Atlanta at 27, and Sporting KC also at 27. And what's really confusing with all that is Galaxy, because of their schedule, they have 2 games left, and they have the possibility of doing the most amazing thing ever. If they wind up winning their last 2 games, DC wins their last game, and Sporting loses their last game, Sporting will be awarded the wooden spoon. But we don't want that. In this world, what we want Galaxy to be awarded the wooden spoon, because they'll go from first to worst in the same calendar year. But then like they would be the warning for a team that goes all in for one championship in the MLS. They are the poster child for throwing all your money in order to win.
So let's look at this real quick. Here's the thing, right? We have, like you said, LA Galaxy, DC United, Atlanta United, Sporting KC kind of up the ladder. Now, here's the thing. Atlanta United has 3 games remaining. 3 games. So this week, next week, and the week after. So they have 3 games coming up. They really have to like boot this and like lose all 3 games to get this. So I'm not even going to talk about them for a second. So we have Galaxy at 24 points, but they got 2 games in hand. DC United at 25 and Sporting KC. Like you said, Sporting KC loses, DC United wins, and DC United is playing Atlanta, right? Go figure.
Yep.
Which Atlanta is in a pretty bad team too. So they actually have a possibility of winning that. Now, the only thing is LA Galaxy has 2 games here. They would have to win 1 and at least at a bare minimum draw 1. And it's going to be tough because Dallas who they play next, is in 8th place. So Dallas is going to be playing hard. And then
Yeah, they are.
Minnesota, they probably want the top of the West or East or whatever they're in.
The West.
Yeah, West. Yeah, going up against San Diego. Yeah. So they're probably going to play reasonably hard too. Plus, they're a good team. But if you could somehow win against Dallas and then, tie against Minnesota, boom. Sporting could actually fall to the
Oh my
freaking
gosh.
wooden spoon. Holy moly.
That would be the funnest thing possible, because you're right. Atlanta having 3 games left, they're going to accidentally probably win one of those, and so that kind of puts them out of the contention for that. Sporting only has a game against Houston, and I'm pretty sure Houston just wants Houston. They both want to win it for those moral victories, but like Houston probably wants to win it more. And Sporting, that would be just hilarious. Both teams fired their head coaches this year, and which team was slightly worse than the other is what it's going to amount to, because actually they won't be able to hop over us. We both only have one match left. So they will finish below us again. So that's a good thing. They won our series this year, but they won't be higher than us down the standings. Plus, they could win the spoon. That would just be, LA Galaxy has been at the bottom the entire season, and for them to potentially just the very last thing they can do is go boop, one for just one spot. Oh, that, I would be okay with either of those two teams being awarded the fabled spoon of justice.
Yeah, and some people are probably wondering, why are we talking about the wooden spoon in Sporting KC? Well, that's the whole point when you have a rival, is you want to see them fail. And when your rival is knocking on the door of potentially getting the wooden spoon, of course you're going to talk about it, right? That's half the fun of football, right? So welcome to fandom, and welcome to football fandom specifically. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, you got to have fun. If on a season like this, we got to have fun. Sometimes it's okay to wallow in someone else's misery, and especially if it's the team from Kansas. That's the greatest thing. If we can make fun of their slightly worse situation, I'm perfectly okay with that. I am A-okay.
So, you ready for some fun goal or no goal? My favorite segment.
Hit me.
Woo! Hippie. Okay. All right, so we're just going to go to the really controversial one here. So Danny Mullen Comedy said, for me, that earns Critch the role. The players trust him. Goal or no goal?
Guys. I'm going to have to still say no goal, because who's making that decision? Is the ownership making that decision? Is Diego making that decision? Who's making that decision? Because we're supposed to have a sporting director, and that guy is the only one that can make the decision. And I don't know. I don't want a cheap head coach, because that's what it's going to come down to. He's going to be a cheap choice because he's already in the organization. He's our current City 2 head coach. He's filling in the spot here. He's had a few good games. Let's just make him the head coach. How is he going to relate to a 33-year-old DP that we can potentially sign? How is he going to relate to him, the guy that's been playing in potentially another league for 10 years? How's he going to relate to him? Yes, he can relate to the youths on the team. Send him back down to City 2 to relate to those youths. He's already part of the organization. No, sorry, I can't. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to say no goal. I'm not saying we shouldn't consider him. I think absolutely we should, right? But there's a couple factors. One, if you just automatically hand him the head coach job now, what sporting director is going to want to come in, right? Because the sporting director, ultimately, especially if you're going to try to get somebody decent, they're going to want to pick their person, right? I think about if you had that job, you want to pick the person that's going to be representing you. So I think that would be silly to even consider right now. Now, if the sporting director comes in and he goes, hey, here's all the coach availability, everybody's about equal, absolutely give Critch the job. But if you get somebody who's coming from a very winning team and okay, fine. Like you go with that person, right? You go with the
Right.
best person available. If Critch is that absolutely. Absolutely. By the way,
Boy.
I know you watched this on mute because you're at in-laws, but
Mm-hmm.
on the telecast, this idiot announcer was like, "Oh, well, if you don't give Critch the head coaching job, he can't go back down the city too. He's too good for it. You need to give him the sporting director job." And I'm thinking,
Bud.
dude, you know soccer. You're literally an announcer. Those are two very different jobs, right? A head coach is somebody who's actively training, doing the game planning and everything like that. And a sporting director is somebody who's managing talent, looking and analyzing talent. It's two different jobs.
Yes.
Am I
Yeah.
crazy here?
No, you made the point, me being in education, just because you're a good teacher doesn't mean you'll be a good admin. And just because you're a good admin doesn't mean you make a good teacher. I know plenty of good teachers that would be horrible in admin, but just because he's a decent enough coach right now that we think, why would we want him in charge of negotiating contracts?
Yeah, I agree.
Can you imagine the audacity to say that this interim head coach should be in charge of every contract on the team and future contracts and paying off previous contracts and how to work around now? You think Critchley knows how to work with agents?
My thing is why would we entertain this? Because here's the problem, right? We're a bad team right now, right? Like we're showing a little bit of promise here. The thing is we can't just accept what we have, right? There's a lot of people that are looking at these players, and McSorley, like he's shows some promise.
Yeah.
Joyner shows some promise, but the fact is, that I want proven players that are good on this team. Don't just say, "Oh, somebody's good enough," and accept that, right? I don't want somebody who's a first time sporting director. Like I want somebody at least
No.
that has some qualifications. I know that Premier League guy from Brentford was uh, a quote unquote possibility. Maybe if he has some hand in that, like if he was like assisting the sporting director or if he had some kind of qualifications for that, fine, right? But just come on. It was just the stupidest thing I heard, long story short. And hopefully people aren't thinking that.
Right. Have we heard any update on any of these or not coaching, but sporting director rumors since last week?
Of course not, because I don't know if it
No,
was a
it was all just
real.
rumors.
Yeah.
Right. And then, okay. So I've got one from Reddit. Delt Terry says a lot, but I'll just say his first couple lines. This team could have made the playoffs. I mean, if we played like we had the last couple of matches all season, we'd be a shoo-in for the playoffs. Goal or no goal.
So I'm gonna get. I see what they're saying. I'm gonna say no goal, right? Because I don't like this line of thinking. The realistic fact is that I said this before. Olaf basically wasted our preseason, right? He got the team ready, well, quote unquote ready, and then he was starting to play. What Critch had to do is he had to work from just utter crap of a team, and he had to use that mid part of the season as almost like a preseason. And then now, and only now, are we starting to look like we have some fluidity in our game. So there's no way that we could say that we could have played like this 10 games ago or however many games ago. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that just asinine, completely asinine. So I get what you're saying, whoever that was, but no, I can't do it. Sorry.
Right. And it's hard to say. It's hindsight has the benefit of being perfect. And this season's been going on since February. Like it's easy to have that recency bias of having 3 wins in a row. We've won now 5 games or so. It's easy to say, man, if we would have just had this from the very beginning, this team would have been a disaster if
Mm-hmm.
Critchley would have been the head coach from the very beginning. Let's just be honest. If before the season starts, Olaf's like, I don't like this food, I'm going home. And then all of a sudden, we put Critchley in charge. You think this team was going to be completely ready to go? Absolutely not. We had to have that start from February to May to get to where we are now. And let's stop pretending that Critchley has been just amazing head coach. It's just like when Hackworth stepped in last year. It's not like they were lights out. They won 50 games in a row in baseball or something and made it to the playoffs. We've not made the playoffs for the last 2 seasons, and both coaches had a chance to right the ship, if you would, up to that point. They both had plenty of time. Critchley had, it's been May, plenty of time. And you think we would have fixed it other than the last 3 weeks. So I hope whoever is giving Critchley this head coach position already doesn't make big life choices for their families, because they are very reactive people. If you are just seeing something and be like, oh, we gotta do this. Like, I would hope that person's not making a lot of life decisions if that's the rationale they want to give for making these big things. So yeah, no, sorry. That's just the old man. I'm the old man here. I got all these gray hairs. Like, I've been around the sun a few more times. You got to be a little more prudent than 3 wins in a row. 3 wins.
Matt Baker just posted, he said, "What did you expect? Carnell just completed an incredible regular season, winning the Supporter Shield that nobody thought he would. And the reporter asked him about being fired 15 months ago. Good on Carnell for walking away to celebrate versus slinging mud." I'm going to play it.
Louis,
He goes, "The way things ended in St. Louis, Carnell just puts up his hand and is like, he just walks away."
Yeah.
Holy crap. Awesome.
Man, that's
so
awesome. That's like your ex just brushing off their shoulder when someone mentions your name. Like, that's maturity. It helps that they just won the damn Shield, and so he's got a lot of extra maturity coming his way. That's got to feel really good to just be able to say, "Who?" When someone says you're like, "I'm sorry, who's that?" I don't know them anymore. New number, who dis? That kind of nonsense.
Okay, you got any goal or no goals?
Let's see. Oh, here, Roger on the Discord says, "Look at us being road warriors." Like, all of a sudden we're unbeatable on the road. I did hear that, like, from 2024 to the middle of this year or something, we won 2 road games, and we've won a bunch of them this year. So all of a sudden now we're the road warriors. Whoop, 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 whoop. How about that? Goal or no goal? We're the road warriors now. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Well, just for fun, just having that reckless optimism and the hopium and copium, I'll just say goal, just because, like, I'm being a little cheeky here, but come on, guys. Sure. Why not, Steve?
Yes.
Why not?
Yes,
it's your moral victory. Why?
We already know. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's fun to win. I think winning is fun. I think you would agree that winning is better than not winning. Remember all those draws we had last year and this year, all those damn draws.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now we're doing we get to put the W's on the calendars. The W's, those are fun. Those are even fun to write. L is just a stupid 2 lines, and a D, it's kind of fun. It's like a bubble, but a W is like mountain, 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 mountain. And then you get to draw a fun little shape. W's are fun.
So actually, we've mentioned this person on Reddit before. You ready? You're going to laugh. Snarf12. He or she said basically, players want Critch to stick around. Sucks to think about all those dropped results all season, but we're now playing on par with the fringe playoff teams at this point. What do you think about it? Do you think we're now a fringe playoff team based on what you're seeing compared to what we were earlier this season?
Well, yeah, it's just an outer fringe. Like, yeah, we could be fringe all you want. You know what gets cut off first whenever you're hemming something? The stupid fringe gets cut off. So you know what? Yeah. We've never been a good team this year. Might as well call ourselves a fringe team. Hell, Galaxy could call themselves a fringe team because technically they were eligible for the playoffs at some point in the season. So yes, we can call ourselves a fringe team all we want. We're still bad, and we're still out of the playoffs with what we saw. We got knocked out last week or 3 weeks ago. We still were out of the playoffs. So fringe all you want, daddy. Fringe me, mommy. You know what? I did hear that Austin declared this game a sellout. And I don't know if you noticed,
No,
they did.
no goal, no goal, no goal.
All them empty seats. They're out there calling it a sellout.
So you're old enough, and I'm old enough to remember back in the day. Man, we can start saying that, right? We're early mid 40s.
Yeah.
Back in the day, in my times, I walked uphill both ways to school, and stadiums used to only count the fans actually in the stadium, not tickets sold.
Butts in the seat.
Oh, so
Well, yeah, but
so
that's
lame.
because you didn't know there was no pregame sale. Like if you sold tickets pregame, you had to walk into the damn ticket box and buy them. You know, so that's the only way you could have a sellout is that they showed up and bought tickets while they were walking through the gates. Now you can buy them on your phone and it's never come, and it's still a sellout. That seat was still sold.
Oh, you know what I miss? Little turnstiles, like the click, 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 click.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And now
Yeah.
you just walk through an open gate. They can scan
Oh.
your butthole while you're walking through.
But they can count. They're scanning. They're sitting there. They know exactly how many people are in there.
Oh, they
So
know.
lame.
22,500 in most of these games this year have had like 21,000 people. They know they're not the game's not sit in. You know, it's sold out, but it's not sat in. It's clanky, but it's
So
late.
actually, random question. Okay,
Or early.
so nobody's probably listening at this point, anyways, right?
Oh, we all
So
are. AJ.
what's your number one favorite player of all time? And I'm going to tell you mine in a second.
Just anything everywhere?
Any player, any sport.
It's Michael Jordan.
Dang, that's a good one.
Well, he's the GOAT.
Oh yeah.
Hey, listen, you Utes. It's not LeBron James or anyone else. Michael Jordan, you dumb punks. There. Edit that out, stupid kids. My teenage sons they love trolling me. Like, MJ's not the GOAT. I was like, you leave me alone. Yeah,
Come on.
no. Yeah, nope.
You don't go there.
Either it's Steph Curry or it's LeBron James. I was like, you can miss me.
You know what? LeBron James, Steph Curry, absolutely wonderful players, right?
In their time.
Top notch, right? But Michael Jordan, come on, like he literally not revolutionized, but he revitalized basketball. Like it was something that I think they weren't even showing the finals. I think I heard something about that where like the finals would get interrupted by, TV. Because back then you didn't, back in my day, you couldn't stream. Like you actually had to watch it on cable TV or the little
Tune in
antennas.
NBC.
Man. So
Okay, what's yours?
My favorite player, okay, I'm a homer, but it was somebody that really got me into watching sports, and Kurt Warner, just because of the greatest show on turf. He had that story, like he was somebody that was like bagging groceries one day, and then, all of a sudden he's like throwing a football, and holy crap, the media loved telling that story 1,000 times. But, I'm like,
thank Trent Green for that.
Yeah, getting hurt and
Getting blown out.
Preseason. It was preseason, right?
Football,
yeah.
Preseason football.
And my father goes,
God damn.
Hey, AJ, come here. You need to watch this. This is going to be a really special team. And he says this like, I think it was during preseason or the first game of the season. And I never really watched sports at that point. And then I just got hooked. I was like, holy crap, this is like awesome.
Yep.
So, yeah, Kurt Warner.
Yeah, I remember I didn't get to watch hockey, but I remember the greatness that was Wayne Gretzky, and I could appreciate that. And I knew his name, and I knew about him, and I really, really idolized him, even though I never really watched him play, just sparingly as a child. But like, you could not. It was 1993. Like, I was in 7th grade, and like that's all you heard about was the Bulls. And then like I watched one of the NBA finals on a bag TV with a screen this big on my front porch just so I could watch the finals. Like, who is going out of their way to watch TV like that anymore? And that was great. I remember watching baseball, but like the Cardinals in the 80s, and then like Ozzie Smith was it. Like, no, you ain't watching the Cardinals in the 80s and the early 90s and hoping to have great players. But like Yeah, you asked for my favorite player of all time. It's Michael Jordan. Just the slam dunk contest. Jesus Christ, guys. You kids, you youths, you don't know what you didn't have. We didn't have slam dunk contest. The dream team, the Olympic dream team, those players there, other than Christian Laettner, were some of the greatest players of all time, and we got to experience those, and it was just wow. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So anybody listening, feel free to comment. I'm kind of curious what you guys would say is your favorite player. Obviously, Steve took a very, very good name. I mean, one of the best athletes of all time. I mean,
A very
hands
good
down.
guy. Yeah, he was okay.
Man, you know who would be actually a good player of the name if he didn't like completely trash his name? Tiger Woods. Absolutely dominated his sport. Absolutely dominated his sport.
I gotta tell you,
just
on any major on a Sunday, if you knew Tiger Woods was going to be there, you were stopping what you were doing and you were watching golf. One of the worst damn sports to watch on TV. You were watching golf because you knew Tiger Woods was going to be there on Sunday in his red Nike polo, dominating. Tiger Woods, you're right. Tiger Woods was the nails. You knew exactly where you were going to be on the weekends if you knew he was going to be playing. Yeah. And then he got drunk and crashed his car because he was dipping on a waitress on the side. Like, yeah, that was a fab. You know, we could cover like self-destructive career-ending things all day. That would be easy, especially in sports because they don't know how to handle themselves.
Well, speaking of self-destructing, I feel like this podcast is going to self-destruct. And
ooh, what is this, like a Inspector Gadget in 3, 2, 1?
No, isn't that Mission Impossible? Like this message
Probably
is self-destructing.
Inspector Gadget did the gag too. Yeah.
Oh, he did?
And you got to throw the tape in the trash can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Awesome. Go Gadget arms. Dude, it was so stupid. And then Matthew Broderick did that dumb movie. So ruined me for that. Hey, guess what? All for City, baby.
Peace out.